Hello and welcome back to another Board Crazy review. I am D. I am joined as ever by my cohorts.
I'm Graham.
In green.
Oh, hey.
Yeah.
Copycat.
And I'm Will.
Yeah.
The Green.
It's Graham and
So
Willie
who's
Green.
copying who now? It's in my name.
He should be Graham Green.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, you would.
Watch Die Hard with a Vengeance. D.
Yes. Once again, we don't have a proper introduction from our gameplay video to run here to explain how it works, but you can check out the gameplay video for both games. That's pretty clever and twice as clever. If you want to have a pretty good idea of how these games work, they're pretty simple. Just watching, you could get a pretty firm grasp, I think, on how the games play.
Yeah, you could just skim it.
Yeah. and
Watch the first round.
We always have
you
handy overlays with like rules and stuff when necessary.
Indeed.
Yeah. So so nothing like that. So we're just gonna get started with the review right now.
That sounds fun.
Okay, so I'm not sure this game is technically accurate when it comes to this title. I'm not sure it's twice as difficult as Gone Strong Clever, or requires twice as much strategizing or consideration.
Maybe twice as much luck.
Interesting.
Or, there's that, yeah, and also maybe twice as much time required to play.
Well, okay. Save it, boys. But yeah, it is definitely, I think, a greater challenge than the original game. I think largely because so many of the new scoring areas require either manipulating multiple dice at once or just multiple dice rolls to even score anything.
And you have the extra mechanic in there, which throws another twist into it.
Yes, it does. Adds another layer of strategy. So I think all things considered, it is definitely a slightly heavier game. So yeah, okay, I guess we should just, as far as the new ways to play, so to speak, the new scoring areas that are provided on the scorecards, as we can see one of ours here.
There's no top down.
I know there's no top down.
You just want to look at it.
I want to be able to see it.
Never mind. Of the 5 new colors, I personally think the silver one is both most interesting and probably the most fun, most strategic.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the most strategic, but it is definitely the most unique of the...
That's another good word for it. Yeah, the way there's a lot going on with it.
Yes.
You can sort of stack a bunch of marks at once with a single roll.
It's the most powerful section, and it gives you the opportunity to score the most.
It's also a very difficult section, I think, though.
Yeah, and it probably requires the most luck out of any of the sections.
Yeah. You have something to say, Will?
Well, I don't know if it requires. I don't know if it requires the most luck, but I was going to say that I just like that it. It's a first time in the game where you always have to consider which dice you're giving up to the dice tray, but I really like that they finally incorporated a mechanic where you can still get something out of them.
It's rewarding. That's definitely another thing where
it's real gratifying.
Previously, you always felt like you were being punished for putting stuff on the tray. Now there's a pro to balance out the con.
And you gotta use it during the right time, because you may get into a situation where you've marked off a few from each row now, and you're going to be rolling doubles, and it becomes less and less powerful as the game goes on. But at the same time, it's very hard to get the rewards and get the max points for each row. So that's why I think it does require the most luck to do well in that section.
They all require luck to some degree.
Of course, of course they do. But I think other ones can be, I don't know what the right word is, manipulated a little bit easier, controlled a little bit easier.
I think the yellow's pretty tough too when it comes to that, as far as you needing to roll each number twice just to score. And even it's a situation where even scoring the yellow can feel bad at times, because you're not getting the bonuses if you're focusing on marking them off instead of circling them.
Definitely compared to something like the pink section, where you can just put in whatever you want.
Pink is like the fallback number, or fallback section. You're just okay, I got nothing better to do. I'll just go here, get a...
Which, actually, going into that, I kind of liked what they did with the pink section, in that it's similar to the orange section from the first one, where you can put in whatever you want. There's no restrictions to it.
Yeah.
But you need to hit a certain number to be able to get the bonus.
Yeah.
You'll still score it, and it'll still be able to go down, but if you don't hit the number in the box, you're not going to be able to get the bonus.
Yeah, ultimately I think all of them work well. I don't have any section here that I dislike playing. So let's talk about the return action, I guess, real quick. I think it's very much works in tandem with the new silver section, whereas it's another way that you can get away with adding stuff to the platter and then being able to, bring them back and not feel like you're throwing stuff away.
There was a moment where Graham, I think, used 3 returns at once. He rolled,
and then I will return all 3 of these.
I think he took like a silver 4 or 5, and then returned. Yeah.
All of them, yeah.
He took all of them, marked them all off in the silver section, and then took them all back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I really like I agree with you that the return seems to work best with the silver section. It's also really useful at just. It worked for me a lot of times to get the wild card back, the white die. Mm-hmm. It's so important to have that one. Sometimes you were kind of forced to put it on the tray, and I remember in Gons that was like you're really almost shooting yourself in the foot every time you do that.
Yeah.
So.
I will say, I think there is a downside to the return action, though, which is that it sort of makes things a little bit less engaging for the passive players, because oftentimes, and whereas that's pretty clever, you can start strategizing once you see dice starting to go on the platter. And this, oftentimes, they're not even going to stay there. They're going to go right back immediately to the active play. And you really can't start strategizing for your like passive action until they're entirely done.
Yeah.
Which I think kind of slows the game up as well.
I agree with that. I don't know if it hurts or helps the passive players because maybe they want it back and maybe it could end up helping you.
In terms of the scoring, I don't think it makes much of a difference. I think just in terms of playing the game, it makes the downtime a bit worse than
that makes
the original.
sense. Yeah. Okay.
I think in general, with this game being slightly heavier than the original, it feels a bit longer between turns. I feel like I got more frustrated this time waiting to go because it's such a small sliver of the game, especially for 3 or 4 players.
I think the thing that makes this game different, and I don't know if it's in a good way compared to its predecessor, is that it feels a lot less forgiving than Gons Sure and Clever did. Like in Gons, you could definitely make a mistake or two and work your way back, or you could get a less than favorable roll and still get something out of it to the point where maybe because it was a simpler game, it felt like you were getting a little bit more out of every little thing you did, even when you were making mistakes. I feel like in this one, and it kind of goes back to what Graham said about luck. Now, there's always luck in a rolling right, but it feels like in this one, sometimes you just have no chance if you're rolling a certain way. I felt that way a little bit in my game. Now, maybe it was unique to my experience, but and I like to go on forums and read, and it seems like a lot of people feel that way. Not that they don't say it's bad necessarily, but it's definitely because it requires so much more strategy, it is a little less forgiving, and that may be something to consider.
One thing, so I may have a little bit of a unique perspective on these games than you guys, because I have the apps, I play the games on my phone, so I played them quite a bit, and I feel actually over time that this game has been a little bit more forgiving. It's harder to get the really, the best, the most optimal score possible in this one than it is with Gons, but Gons I feel like was more if you start getting any kind of bad luck in Gons, you're just well, I might as well just close out of the app and start over because I know I'm not going to do that well in this. This one I feel like there's more strategies in this game, in this version that you can take that will eventually work itself out to a good score. While Gons, there's really only, I feel, one good strategy at the end of it.
I might agree with you, actually. I haven't played it as much as you have, obviously, but I felt like playing this one, I never had a situation where I couldn't do any, nothing seemed useful, whereas I feel like that occasionally happened in Gons Sure and Clever. In this one, even at the worst, you could dump something onto pink, usually, and get something out of it, or somewhere,
or even just cross out, even though it hurts.
Circle
crossing
yellow
off just one,
I agree. I feel like I don't know. Yeah, there's more going on here, having maybe more bonus actions at your disposal and stuff like that.
One thing I wanted to mention that I don't think you guys mentioned yet that I enjoyed about this game was the bonuses by collecting that you get for
filling out
the entire bonus actions. I thought that was kind of cool. They're not used a lot, but I feel like if you get to the point where you are using them, you've done pretty well in the game, and it means you're going to get a decent score. And so
it's a neat addition.
It's a neat addition.
You have to do it, but why not?
Yeah.
Another goal for the players to have.
Yep.
I just have a couple notes about the production. It's probably a fluky thing, but we got a bad die here. Our yellow die was not cut correctly, and as a result, our 2 side was not printed correctly. So I had to go in with the markers and just put little fake pips on there. So we didn't actually use this in the video. We used the one from Gonstra and Clever instead because of...
You can see just the 2 side, it's just cut sheer.
And if you look at like the 6 and the 3 side, it's kind of, you can see where it's like morphed, or not morphed, but like not cut properly. Like there's...
Oh yeah, the 6 side is like the bottom, like that bottom row of pips is definitely like on the edge, and
so that's a little disappointing. You can even see some like on this one, the blue dye has I think, or I don't know if it's a blue dye or maybe some of the box is rubbed off on the white dye here. So maybe not the greatest production quality, but I felt pretty much the same as the original. So not, it's probably not going to be the same situation for everybody, but that's a little disappointing. Also, there was a rule that we only were able to figure out from Graham's phone app regarding the silver dice and how they work with, if you choose it as your third die as the active player, which extra ones you get to add to your board. It's not clarified in the rule book, but in the on the app, it lets you know that just the lower ones remaining in that case, you also get to add. So that's a little disappointing, but fortunately we were able to figure that out. I mean, otherwise it's it's about the same as the original in terms of you get all the same stuff.
One thing I do like about these games is that and this is maybe a little bit side topic from what we're discussing, but is the apps that they have for them. They're really well done. So if you want to play this game, you don't want to spend the money on the entire the box.
Yeah, they're cheap, right?
They're cheap on. I think you can get them for $2 or $3. At least I know on the.
I think
the iPhone store,
Are
whatever
they both single and multiplayer, or just single player?
Actually, it's a good question. I've only ever played the single. I don't know if
they're at least single player. If you want to play that,
they're at least single player.
Yeah.
You don't even. The nice thing is you don't even have to sign. You can play offline. You don't have to sign up for anything. You don't have to create an account. You can if you want to, and then your scores will go into a high score thing for the. For the day or the week or whatever.
Yeah, it's cool.
It is cool. They're fun. They're a good way to pass the time.
Yeah. Okay, so let's. I guess we might as well score it. I gave the original 5 stars. I see no reason to give this any other score. I think it's better in some ways, maybe slightly worse in others, but on the whole, it's still it's a game that I'd gladly play basically anytime. I'll give it another 5 stars.
It would be unfair for me to give it anything other than my 2 thumbs up. I mean, I play this, like I said, I play the game all the time on my phone. Anytime, it's a really easy game to play once you learn, and you can move through really quickly. It is a clever game, and I think most people would enjoy it.
That's another thing, yeah. If you enjoyed the original, this is definitely buy this one. There's no reason not to. If you didn't enjoy the original, I'm not sure this one would have enough changes to change your mind at all on the style of game. So it's pretty straightforward in that. And if you had to, I would say if you had to choose one or the other, I would still probably go with the original first. Just because it is, it's a bit lighter.
It's a good way to teach people and prepare them.
There's more going on here, so I'd probably go with that one first. But you can't go wrong either way, in my opinion. Will, sorry, I cut you off.
You gave it 2 thumbs up?
Yeah, 2 thumbs up.
Right, cool.
Definitely.
How many thumbs you gonna give it, Will?
With a roll and write, I don't want to play it for longer than 30 or 40 minutes. And because this one takes generally longer, I think I would downgrade it just a little bit compared to Gons. I think I gave Gons an A-, so I'll give this one a B+.
Okay.
But if I gave Gons a B+, then this one has a B. Like, our scores are arbitrary, so it doesn't really matter. But it's close.
Such conviction.
But I think, because of my personal preference when it comes to, I like lighter...
You didn't win this one, so you're...
That's not has nothing to do with it. I like both of them a lot, and I would gladly play this one again. I'm just saying, though, that I think sometimes the ease of play and quicker play times are preferable with this kind of game.
Fair enough. So that was our review for Twice as Clever. If you enjoyed it, please like, comment, subscribe, share, and you can check out our social media links. Our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram are all linked to in the description below. Maybe get some sneak peeks of what's coming up next on the channel. And of course, you can come back this Friday, if you're watching this new, when we will be hitting the beach. Maybe? Sort of?
Kind of.
It's summertime.
So one of us will be hitting the beach.
Living easy. Yes. Until then, though, thank you for watching, everybody. Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you for watching.